So things are beginning to get a bit exciting in terms of Shiba Inu. We know that we are fighting to try to break through the upside. We are fighting this hard line at 4037. And eventually, if you bang your head on it enough, if you have enough momentum, enough pressure, you can bust through the seams and start to tackle some higher levels. Now, the interesting thing about this is there is actually very minimal resistance between here and the prior all-time high. That's why I've said SHIB can move very, very quickly from these ranges that we're currently at to higher levels. Now, I want to rewind for a moment, okay? The thickest levels of Shiba Inu liquidity were down in this basically 5008, wow, 508 through 4014. We talked about that for months and months and months. This bear market cycle, we would continually test it. We'd get rejected. We'd come down. We'd keep fighting through it. And it took all the way until late February until we finally got our surge through it and broke out of those thick levels, okay? So now we're up in ranges where Shiba Inu can actually move a lot easier. It can make bigger percentage jumps in a shorter period of time. Now, the interesting thing about this is down in this range, there was actually 262 trillion SHIB that was accumulated in that level. Thick liquidity. Again, almost over 40% of the circulating supply was accumulated in those levels. Now, as we move up above where we're sitting at currently, there's a few walls that we have to break through on our way towards this all-time high. The first wall is actually at 4039 through 4046. In that range, there's only 3.2 trillion SHIB that we have to work through. Very easy to move through. You can see that we actually did it on our way to the upside here before we fell back down. And once we enter this range, this is one that we can actually tackle very, very quickly. Does not take much to move through here. This is slightly over 1% of what we saw in those lower ranges. So remember that. Now, the next range is actually between 4046 and 4057. Now in here, it didn't give me the exact amount based on the bubble size. This is data from Into the Block, by the way. This is what I'm referencing here. You can see it's probably somewhere in that 15 to 20 trillion range. Okay. So slightly more, takes maybe a little bit more effort to get through here, but this is also why I've said we get close to that 406 range. That actually makes a lot of sense. Once you get above there, we're kind of in no man's land. There's a big gap basically between that 4057 to 4067. And then above there, 29.7 trillion all the way up to 3013. All right. These are the levels that Shiba Inu is going to have to contend with and try to tackle as we start to really get in the mode of trying to set a new all-time high, which at this current rate, we're kind of waiting on BTC. We're kind of essentially gauging market sentiment right now. That's really the big thing. We look at what actually BTC has been doing over the last 24 hours. We're kind of going sideways right now, and that's okay. All right. It's okay to go sideways. We're not making much headway one direction or the other. And right now, I'm going to talk about this in a different video, but there is whales that are accumulating BTC that are not dumping on the market. Okay. And again, I'll talk about this more in this other video, but right now the market is preparing to move up. That's really what people need to know. Could we correct? Could we come down? Absolutely. Right. This is no guarantee, but look what's happening on the charts here. This 4 hour, that 20 moving average, we have, apart from that mass crash that we had on Tuesday, BTC is very, very good about staying above this trend. And you can see it even wrestled with this trend back in February when we were going sideways. Well, what is approaching the price that we're at right now? It's that 20 trend on the BTC. All right. It'd technically be the 80 hour moving average. All right. That is what we are going to be fighting with in the very short term here. And what that means is we're going to have some bottom side push for BTC, whether it breaks today, whether it breaks tomorrow. It's likely that BTC is going to try to extend to the upside. Okay. Now, as always, like it says below, this is not financial advice, but this is something that most of the market's waiting for right now. We're just waiting for that BTC confirmation so we can really get our butts in gear and try to keep this run moving. So I just thought I'd share that with everyone. Just important that you know what we're going to be contending with on our way up. But once FOMO kicks back in, charts are going to be absolutely insane again. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.